evening, folks, and welcome to what seems like day 47 of the WCOAP. It doesn't really feel like day 47, Lee. There's been a hell of a lot of content, but actually, it's gone pretty quickly. At least it feels it has to me. How about you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm hearing myself.
We've been on a little break, haven't we? We've had a little, ever such a tiny little break since being back from Nottingham. And yeah, 2 more bracelet events to go. First one tonight. Last chance to pick up some player of the series points and whatnot.
Last chance saloon.
Here we go, isn't it?
So online PLO tonight, online no limit hold'em tomorrow night. £25 for each of them. We've had a great field tonight, Lee, and I would expect a big field tomorrow night, Saturday evening, last bracelet of the WCOAP, last chance to make a dent on the player of the series. But great numbers tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely superb. Players are just on a break. We started at 7:30. We had late reg till about 5 to 9. 129 runners, Des, in the PLO tonight. We're down to 38. Yeah, we're paying top 20, so we're getting close to the money. Not too far off it now. And up top, a whopping £655 for the winner tonight.
Fantastic. Beautiful. Beautiful. Do I see the snapper coming in there, number 1? Lovely to see an Irish flag. Brendan Byrne.
Yeah, currently chip leader as players have just returned from the break. He's got just over 1.1 million at the moment, which is 112 bigs in real money, Des. That's where we're at. So yeah, lots of regulars still in the field, chasing down these top 3 for the medals, and obviously the bracelet.
Absolutely.
2 bracelets remaining to be given. Event number 24 and event number 25. Boy, did we dish out a lot of bracelets in Nottingham.
Lee, I lost count.
I think we did 5 in one day. Yeah, 5 in one day, I think it was. It was absolutely,
well, if you look at
crazy. But,
crikey, was it the Saturday or the Sunday? I mean, if you included day 2 of the main or the final day of the main, with 6 events running on one day, just insane. But it was good. It all seemed to work well. The players seemed to have really enjoyed it, which is always a plus. Didn't hear too many dissenting voices, which is always nice too. Lots of good results. Lots of community members went deep and took bracelets and what have you. And of course, the piece de resistance, the main event, won by one Mr. Chris Ralston from Edinburgh, or from the Edinburgh Massive. I don't know if he's exactly from Edinburgh. Just an outstanding performance by Chris and a really good final table. We got to look at that pretty closely on the stream throughout day 2 and indeed the final table day.
Yeah, I thought it was really good actually. The coverage that we managed to get of the main event. Chris was actually one of the very few players that made the final table that we didn't really see on day 2. He was always on an outer table. We didn't manage to get him on the feature table. I think we did about 7 hours worth of day 2 live stream and caught most of those that were moving and shaking around that main event. But yeah, Chris came in kind of pretty much joint chip leader with Dave Amos, and then we got to witness a fairly short and sweet final table.
Very short.
Yeah, we were fully prepped for a sort of 5.5 hour stint is where we thought it was going to go, and it was over in about 3.5 hours with a couple of really key hands meant that it just went for it. Not that the players were ever really short at any point, because I think they were dabbling around the sort of 30 bigs average stack for pretty much most of that final table. So it wasn't a case of anybody was short, but you had the one hand I think when they were 4 out where Chris was up against Matthew, who was the second in chips at the time, and he won that one with a straight flush against Matthew's ace high flush, and then it didn't take very long. Three-handed, they got it all in, 3-way all in, and Chris had woken up with kings.
Yeah, I think this was one of them, Lee.
He's going to get a call.
Matt re-raised. No, he's re-raised it.
Wow, okay.
And it's all in and call.
Oh, wow.
It's ace 4 of hearts for ace with the ace of hearts for Matt, and it's 8
this was sickly
of hearts for Chris. And That is pretty damn incredible.
A 6-card straight flush. I seem to remember that. That was a winner. And then this was the final hand.
So Chris is reaching for some chips here out of the button. And again, is applying pressure on the blinds where the other two are in. Elliot's all in small blind. Chris has already put in 1.6 million here. Decision on Jimmy first out of the big blind.
Well, he'll start with more chips.
And he's all in as well. Chris says, I'm all in. We got a 3-way all in here. Oh. This could be all right. Let's see this goes right, nice and slow till we can get all this sorted. So let's start. Elliot has got 4-3 of spade. It's pocket 8s for Jimmy. Chip leader has got the king. So it's the 3-4 and 8s at risk.
Nice and slowly, dealer.
So it's queen, queen, jack.
10 could be ahead. Fruity.
Another queen.
Wow.
And that's good.
Is that it?
And that's going to be it. And we're going to be done. So it's going to work. Let me just tell you how this is going to play out. So Elliot is going to finish in 3rd as the shortest stack. So very well done to him. He's going to pick up the bronze medal. Jimmy is going to be our silver medalist. And Chip Leader dominated this from a few out and ends with kings to win it.
Wow.
Chris is going to be a winner. And look, his beer has just arrived.
It's got a beer.
Chris is our winner. How about that? What a way to go. Chris is going to be our winner. We got a little bit of setting up and everything to go on here, Des, so we'll get this all sorted. But that's it. All over in one hand. What a way to go.
So it really was a couple of key hands there that just decimated that final table from, 4, 5 out. Absolutely decimated it. And 3.5 hours, all done and dusted, Leigh.
Yeah, it was as simple as that. A very deserved winner, though. Actually, I don't think he made very many mistakes on the final table, and arguably probably didn't throughout the day two as well to build up over 10 million in chips. So played very, very well. Interview with him afterwards, really kind of down to earth, nice guy. Said he doesn't play loads of poker, plays quite a lot of pub poker. Has played a few of the bigger tournaments, but never really even got through a day two. And so, boy, did he get through that field. 696 runners, and
incredible.
He got £15,000 out of the 104,000 in the prize pool. Blown away. Very, very impressive.
Good weekend. He won a UKIP package as well, and of course he took a package for winning our main event. It's like the guy came down, he conquered absolutely everything, drank all of the beer. Can't remember too much about the poker, and I do have that interview, and I guess we'll play it at the first break, Leigh, right? He didn't have a huge amount to say about the poker. I think his comment was, it all sort of worked fine. There were no problems. It was like everything aligned. It was beautiful. We won a few. We lost a few. Thankfully, we won more than we lost, and we walked away with everything. So there you go. And lots of...
There you go. There's total
simple
spoilers on the interview now, isn't it? Yeah.
There's hope. Listen, Leigh, the headline is "There's hope for us all," right? Great WCOAP. We met lots of new people, met lots of old people, and just going into our chat box, Mr. Baker is out there. Evening, guys. Rich had a couple of deep runs. He was in great form. Good to see up there, Rich.
I just need to check here. Are you calling Rich Baker an old person? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's an old person.
Yeah,
in terms of his membership, Leigh, he's been around APAT for a very long time. He knows where the bodies are buried, right? That's the way I'd say it. A new person, one Mr. Renty Monaghan, right? Brought over the Northern Ireland crew. They had a lot of crack. And he says, evening from Northern Ireland, we're back to Earth. To be honest, I'm not sure any of those lads know where Earth is, right? They were a lovely bunch. They came to have a laugh. They had a laugh, and they had lots of good results along the way, Leigh, including a credible 7th. Top 10, Leigh.
Des, they're still at the bar at Dusk Till Dawn.
They're still at the bar. To be honest, when we left, Leigh, I think they were still there.
They were. They certainly were.
Oh, Renty, it was lovely to meet you and the boys, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys back in January and hopefully into 2024 as well. Kerry is there as well. Hello all. Hello to you, Kerry. did a fine job supporting and playing for the US in the team event, and was in good form throughout. It has to be said. Who you calling old? She says. It's a fair cop. It's a fair cop.
Look what you started now. Look what you've started.
Rich puts up an emoji of some young thing that he hasn't been for quite some time. I'm afraid we're all a bit old. We're all a bit old now. But I did mean old A-patters. I'm not helping myself. I'll move on quickly. The Oracle is there. Leigh, Simon, good to see him also playing a few events. He says, evening. Carrie. Carrie. Obviously a nice picture of it. Another young thing emoticon. I'm not buying it. We are who we are. Everybody looks well though, Leigh. And everybody was in good form. Everybody enjoyed the poker. And what more could you want? Nobody got, damaged or, anything as far as I can tell. Everybody managed to walk away from the whole thing. Ish.
Yeah, it was a win-win. Nobody got damaged. That was the most important thing.
As Renty said, nobody got murdered. What more do you want? And fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, that works for me. So, that was the WCOAP. Now, these last two events are online, of course. They're particularly important because they will probably end up impacting the player of the series, which a number of players have been competing for through our week at Dusk Till Dawn. I don't have the graphic for that, Leigh, simply because there were so many players on it. It was just, everybody was so small. But it is pretty tight at the top. Do you know whether any of those players, particularly the ones towards the top of the leaderboard, are still in this event?
So obviously a number of them were going to give this a whirl. I know Nick Crossfield was asking about it the other day, having had a decent run. So obviously Tarek Mahmood was top of the leaderboard with Dominic French in second, Nick Crossfield third, Naz was in fourth, Scott Wayne was in fifth. I don't think Scott's playing on GG, so Scott might be technically in the clubhouse, all done and dusted. I know John Heath plays on GG. I know Dylan Herbert does as well. I'm not sure whether Peter Thorpe does or not, or Ryan Pearson, but we'll try and work it out when we get sort of into the down towards the final table, and we'll have a better idea of who's still good. So of course, even if you scored sort of so 18 points is currently top at the moment. So even if you've only picked up sort of 8 or 9 so far, if you win this one tonight, that's going to shoot you right up to the top of the table with one more event to go tomorrow. So
so 9 points for the winner tonight, Leigh. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just a straight top 9. We'll pick up 9 points right down to 1 point. Same as it has been for every tournament that we've done at the WCOAP.
Like it very much. Kerry says, rather controversially, I'm just happy I cashed my first WCOAP, having spent the 2 weeks prior telling everyone that she captained America at a previous WCOAP. How can she make both of those statements, Leigh? Something in there is fake. There's fake news abounding.
No, I think you've got to just interpret the sentence. Yeah, it's all about.
I interpreted it my way, Leigh.
Yeah,
just fake presenting also.
Talking of old members, I see Swim Dad is pretty much all in here, which is Steve Redfern, and he's going to get called by Ellis 204. So we'll just watch this one play out. It's 9s with the 8 and the 6, aces for Steve. The ace is going to hold. They're in good spot at the moment, but there are outs.
It's PLO, Leigh. There's always outs.
There's always going to be outs. And there's one of them. Wow.
Oh,
9 on the river means
sunk.
Ellis Rivers a full house, and we lose Steve Redfern in 31st place. So very well played to Steve. So we'll quickly flick over to one of the other tables, which has got one of our bracelet winners from last week on it.
Is that optional?
In optional 65.
Yeah, good lad, Stefan.
Yeah.
It's good to see him in top form. Shook his hand as he was going out. He said, I'll see you same place, same time next year. It was something like that, which is fantastic.
Does he know something? Yeah.
I don't think he does, Leigh. I think we should just move it. Just to see him turn up and have no APAT events there at the time. That would be be a horrible thing to do, wouldn't it? Let's do it.
Well, we'll see. Well, he's in a hand here up against Nashbacks from Israel. So, and he's going to win that one. Only a little one, but Dandy Gandy's on this table as well from Ireland. Got 33 bigs, so in nice spot. And Bej Busiu is currently 5th in chips as well with 65 bigs there. So, and actually, Mr. G27 UK is in the top 10 as well. So it's a nicely stacked table actually on that one. It's got Mega Heiner from Germany as well, who's got 44 bigs. Average stack Des is about 37 bigs at the moment. Great structure in this.
Yeah,
really is.
It's too good, Leigh. Somebody out there will be saying it's too good. It takes too long to lose your chips. I can't believe I have to play for this long for $600.
Yeah, there will be people. What else are you doing on a Friday night other than waiting for your club to finish off their transfer dealings? Yeah.
Leigh, we have some exotic members in APAT, as you know, one of whom is Don Roberts, Iron Man Don Roberts. He says, "Evening, guys, watching on the coach on my way back from Luton. Keep up the good work." Don was visiting a house in Luton, as you will know, Leigh, tonight. Opening of the house since Luton Football Club got into the Premier League. I don't know how that game went on. I mean, I can't imagine anything other than a West Ham win, Leigh.
I know the halftime score.
What was the halftime score?
Halftime score was 1-0 to West Ham with Jared Bowen scoring with the most ridiculous of headers that he managed to head straight to the goalkeeper and the goal. And he headed it straight to the goalkeeper, who kind of palmed it into his own net. So, yeah, not the greatest. But
I hate to say it. Can you let us know from the coach how the match finished? Did West Ham scoop those points?
I can tell you what happened if you want.
Oh, here we go. The Oracle, of course. West Ham 2, Luton 1.
Yeah, there you go. So Luton got a late consolation goal in injury time. So
it's a decent start to the season for West Ham, Leigh. And listen, I don't know who scheduled this entire WCOAP 6 months ago, but clashing with deadline daily is just not on. What? How did that get through?
I mean, your club are very organised in the transfer window.
But apparently, it's done. I'm seeing a man.
Done all their transfers will have been done months ago, weren't they? That's Liverpool are like the
Leigh, I'm seeing a man stood in the dark. He's got a Sky Sports mic, so I mean, there is no dildo in his ear, so I'm not entirely sure it's an official feed, but it looks official. And underneath him, it says Liverpool sign Ryan Gravenberch from Bayern Munich. Looks to be done. I'm happy about that. I'm not sure about the central defender that we were hoping to get. That doesn't seem to have happened. Semi-decent day for Man United. They took outcasts from lots of different places, right?
I mean, that's a slightly backhanded comment if ever I heard one from your good self. We signed the midfielder that we've been wanting all summer, so that's fine on a loan deal. So
Rambat.
Yeah. So
okay.
That was all good.
Oh, so you got him on a loan deal?
He's on a loan with an
option.
An option to. I don't think it's an option. I think it is a to purchase in a year's time. So that's
that's
a good bit of business. Quite happy with the switch around of the goalkeepers, because that's turned a bit of profit. Because although Henderson's gone for an undisclosed fee, I'm assuming it's considerably more than the 4-point-something million we paid for from the keeper from Fenerbahce. So that works out very, very well. And we managed to get cover in at left back after a couple of injuries. And I don't think Reguilon's an issue whatsoever. We've got a break clause in it, which means we can send him back in January if we want to. So that seems to be a no-brainer. And as I said to you before we came on the show, we've now signed some cover for Harry Maguire in the shape of Johnny Evans. So what more could you ask for, really? Dream
window for United. If you come in with
the positive is that more importantly is it sounds like Højlund is going to be fit for Sunday.
He is fit for Sunday.
We might get to see him in some form or another. Huge hand here on the other table, and a 10 on the river gives the straight to Neo Matrix 888, but it gives the full house to Beep Hater, who says, ship it. That's our chip leader. Beep Hater is our chip leader. There's with 1.5 million in chips now. That's 95 bigs in proper money at this moment in time, and we're down to 28. So we're only 8 off the money here. I think when we said we were going to do stream, and I said to you,
you did. You said half 10 the bubble.
Half 10 the bubble, and I don't think we're going to be a million miles off that, as well as we've got another
pretty
all
impressive.
In call. It's call raise fold, which is Dan Houston. He's got it in with aces. And that's going to be good up against the queens of Hold Safe Moon from Germany. But these guys are playing sort of, that was a double up for Dan, who was down about 6 or 7 bigs there. So,
Lee, I couldn't keep up with what day it was at WCOAP, which was nothing to do with like long hours or anything like that. It was just that at the end of every evening, Dan Houston would come to me. He would say, "Des, I'm leaving now. I'll see you next year, mate. I'm going. I'm not coming back tomorrow." And then he would turn up the next day with like a tea in his hand and say, "Hey, Des." It was like there was no mention of I'm leaving. It was like Groundhog Day.
And you fell for it every single
time.
Yeah.
Well, he was so convincing. So convincing.
Yeah, no, I think he did consider it once or twice, because it's a long old week if you're playing, especially if you're playing the international team event, because that can be quite draining the first 2 days. And obviously, Wales did very well to pick up the silver, and I'd said they were out of it when Ben bust in the main event, the MTT, and Dan was already out and Rudders was already out, and Ben came to me and said, "Well, can Dylan do anything on his own now?" And I said, I really don't think so. I mean, Romania still had 4 in, and Poland had 3 in, and although Wales had points on the board, I said it's going to be a struggle, Ben, to be honest. But fair play to Dylan. He carried on playing, playing it through, properly, and as players started knocking each other out, and all that happened, all of a sudden he was kind of going, "Hang on a minute, we're in with a shout of a medal here." They weren't only in with a shout with a medal; they ended up with a silver. Due to a very, very good MTT performance from Dylan. He
played well, Lee. I thought all of the Welsh lads played well. And joking aside, it was a great tournament with lots of really interesting spots, discussion points. A lot of things were up for grabs really late into the tourney. I don't think we'll get a chance to talk it through tonight, but I think the next time we hold a regular APAT show, that's one that I think we'll discuss. Maybe get some of the protagonists on. Yeah, that could be cool.
But what I would say is very worthy winners. I think England were consistent throughout as a team. They all added points and seemed kind of fairly cool and calm.
Fantastic.
Under the circumstances of some of what was going on. Put enough points on the board that when Wayne went out, there was only Germany that could catch them, and unfortunately Germany couldn't do what they needed to do because they were very much the short stack on that table. So it was points on the board and just wait and see what happens a little bit. But yeah, it wasn't that much of a sweat really. It was over before I think we got 3-handed, and that was done. So,
but that event never disappoints.
Very worthy winners. I'm pleased for all of those guys because I know how much it meant to them. And Germany with their bronze medal again. Were once the kind of the dust has settled. Super pleased with that, and I know they've posted up since how much they've enjoyed it, and they've taken those bronze medals back home with them. And very well done.
Fantastic, great event, lots of excitement, and just a colourful. It's just great to see the team shirts and a real sense of international flavour to the WCOAP, which is always welcome. And then it was so noticeable how well those players, all of them, were doing in all of the other tournaments through the rest of the week. The international players tend to come to have a blast for the full series. It was great to watch.
Yeah, and I thought at one point we might be seeing a Portuguese back-to-back final tableist in the main event. Because he had another cracking run, didn't he? Really, it was.
I think he was a little. I can't remember the hand exactly, but I know he got rivered. He was on our feature table. Samao Gomez, of course, finished runner-up last time out. So he did go deep again, and of course Tris went very deep again, going out, I want to say, in about 14th or 15th, where again he had two hands that just flew against him. Trissa,
pretty brutal.
previous champ.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there were some pretty brutal hands on that day too. I think I said on the stream at the time for more of the APAT regs that names that we followed for years and years. Yeah, they took a couple of absolute brutal beatings on that day too. Not to be for them, but Dave Amos did make that final table. What a great run he had. And obviously donating for Raise for Jack as well along the way means say some of his winnings goes towards that, which means they raised over well over £1,000 over the weekend. We've donated £150 to Hearts of Queens and £150 to Talk Club on the back of the merchandise sales from the week. So thank you to everybody that bought something from us. We were sold out by the Saturday, so got that massively wrong on how much we need to do, but nothing we could do about that. But it's great to see everything go, and those both those organisations will put that money to very good use as well. So.
Fantabulastic. And I know there was a gentleman out there who was very generous post the main event. He did final table, and he offered to give his winnings as a tip. So I mean, that was very generous, and I think I might have suggested that given tip policies and stuff like that he might also want to make a tiny little donation to both of those organizations that we supported. So hopefully something will have come from that. That would be out with our knowledge, but some tremendous generosity shown there.
Yeah, and I think it was the spirit that the event was played in, from players, from staff. I didn't really hear very many bad words about the whole 6 days. Mostly it was played in very. You always have your niggles. Some people can't help themselves at the poker tables and can cause problems. But I think in general, the atmosphere was fantastic. All the staff was superb and really entered into kind of the spirit that you would hope the week would be played in. And when you've got players wanting to grab staff to say goodbye when they're due to leave at the end of a 6 days.
And the staff isn't APAT. It's like D2D staff.
You kind of know you've done something. You've done something right, and everybody and everyone has been a part of that, because it's we can put these things on, but it then requires people to turn up and play these events. We should never forget, the numbers of what we've just done. 696 runners in the main event, £104,400 in that main event prize pool. Our prize pools at Dusk Till Dawn, Des, over the 6 days were over £250,000.
Players' money, amazing stuff.
Was paid out at Dusk Till Dawn across the 6 days, just in the APAT championship events. So over £250,000 in prize pools was redistributed amongst the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Insanely good. And Leigh, the dealers were amazing, the floor staff, but the valets, they just didn't stop. And they were singing their requests for drinks and food. It was all very, very pleasant, super nice. I didn't hear a bad word said by anyone to them, which is critically important. They were absolutely fabulous. I felt so well looked after, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely, and the way it should be. So we are hand for hand, as in the Online PLO Championship. You can see that here comes the bubble graphic. That can only mean one thing. We're going to have a couple of disappointed players. We're down to 22, so we're going to have a couple of disappointed players that are just going to miss it. We're still on 4 tables here at the moment, so I can manage to bring 3 of them up on my screen to see what's going on. So hopefully we'll catch a couple of the exits before we but we won't break down to 3 tables yet for a couple of exits after that. But we'll see how this plays out. So I can see this guy who's still in, which is Ben Burnhill. He's in a hand up against. Let me see if I can bring that one up for you. He's in a hand against the snapper against Brendan. Brendan makes a bet and on a deuce queen 5 board, and Ben lets that go. Ben's got about 12 bigs behind now, so it's going to be one of the shorter stacks as we head down to this bubble. Let me just see who the short stack. Let's have a look. Just Witty from Germany has got 8 bigs. Oaken from Austria has got 9.2 bigs. Now we know who that is. That's one of the Macedonian players that played in the international team event. Awaken. So
is that Paul? Mike, rather.
No, it's not Mike. It's one of the younger guys.
See.
I can't. Yeah, I think is it Andreas? Is it? But got an all in a call with Stefan, and Stefan's going to lose that one. Actually, wasn't all in, but it was about 16 bigs in the pot there against Mega Heiner. So on we go. Next hand. So as I say, we're down to 22. 20 are getting paid. So we got to lose 2 players, and then the bubble will burst, and we will fly through. And it is 10:30, Des.
Spot on, Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, spot on. Can't argue. Tom Brady did the same. Tom Brady did the same with the live stuff. He would say, "I know, lads, it'll finish at X," and pretty much that's what happened. We'll hit a final at 10-1, and basically the players just went away and did that. But that's the beauty of running these things multiple times.
We've got pretty good. We've got pretty good at these now, and I know we had a couple of little funnies with the Crazy Pineapple format and with the 8-game structure. But I think the 8-game structure, it did play out time-wise as it should have done. But again, it'll get looked at to make sure that we're not missing anything for future years. But I think you have to take your hat off to Tom. There's a lot of events there, a lot of structures, and with him and Ryan at Dusseldorf worked super well. But making it work as smoothly as it could for the players. Got a hand here with Dan in it. Beat Pater is our chip leader. Is in this, was in this hand as well. Lucky Me 20 has raised it up, and Dan's going to let that go. And Lucky Me 20 had flopped quads.
All the tens.
So that's a good fold from Dan. Dan's down to 10 bigs now. So still 22 here. What we do, as we do after any of our really, really big events, is we always take a pause. We'll have a look, and we talk in the background about things that work well, things that didn't work well, and we would want to improve on. And we're always looking to find ways to make things slightly better for the next version.
I can't believe it's like 12 months away again, Lee, assuming that we take the same slot, and we haven't finalized that yet by any means, but assuming we take the same slot, a full 12 months, crikey.
Imagine, think what we could be doing in the next 12 months before we get to another Worlds, Des. I mean, we're only 2 weeks away from Cardiff, so that event is going to come around super, super quick. This time, in 2 weeks' time, will be day 1A of the Welsh Championship in Cardiff, and then those brave enough to be playing in day 1B on the Saturday. This time of night, you'll be going out to check your cars in one piece in the car park after the football.
That is a cracker.
Fun. Yeah. Who on earth scheduled Cardiff versus Swansea at 7:30 on a Saturday night? Honestly, crazy. So the snapper, Brendan, third in chips, is put a hefty bet in here. It's got Mokoku covered. So decision on Mokoku. Now Mokoku is I want to say it's Ricky Fawcett, but it might not be Ricky Fawcett.
He's gonna let it go.
Folds anyway. Yeah.
Kerry is in the chat box, Lee. She tells us she can't make Cardiff. Apparently, she's at the zoo.
It's the zoo.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to see a seal. Going to see a seal that weekend. That's just crazy.
I'm sure if I knew the right and appropriate song title, Lee, I could come back with a witty response. But Seal hasn't been around for a while. Brilliant voice. I would quite like to go and see Seal, I have to say. Good evening to Charlie Kearns and Joe Chillmaid. It was good to see you both in Nottingham. Have you just joined the stream?
Ben's all in against Brendan here.
The singer, you doofus.
Brendan's flawless straight. You don't say.
I should say duffus.
Brendan flopped the straight, and we lose Ben in 22nd. Makoku is actually Neil Vickers. Sorry, so apologies, Neil. I did know I knew who that was. So Makoku is Neil. So he's got about 15 bigs. We are now actually we've just lost one on the one table I've not got open. So we are down to 20, and that is done. Unfortunately, I can't tell you who the other bust out was because GG have changed the software today, and when a player busts a tournament now, they just disappear from the lobby. So you only get showing who's left in the tournament. So
disappear into the ether.
I have no idea. So, but anyway, well done to all you 20. You are all in the money. Just Witty from Germany was the short stack with 6 bigs, made it through. Dan Austin, Call Race Fold, made it through with 7.5 bigs. Made it in as well. Jay Tism's in there as well. Stefan, optional 65, made it through. So very well done to you. Let's see who else there is that I know. I mentioned Makuku, which is Neil. So well played to Neil. PT Buto is Rich Baker. So Rich Baker's made it through in the money as well. The crowbar, I recognise the crowbar. The crowbar is Danny Weaver. So Danny Weaver's in the money as well. No cash 40 is Dave Garden. So he's going to be in the money as well. And then obviously Brendan is currently top of the tree at the moment.
And they are medal hunting with a slight topping of bracelet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now we're in the money. We'll see a few, although average stack is still 32 bigs, so there's not any major rush to be getting to over the top at the moment. And there's decent money up top. So the guys have got a min cash of about 40 pounds, I think it is, 44.62, but up top is 655. For the winner, 495 for second and 373 for third. But everyone that will make the final table, so there'll be a final table of 7. Everybody that will make the final table will win over 100. So 4 times their buy-in.
Brilliant.
So,
absolutely brilliant. Leigh, the law has arrived. It is one Curtis Ledger, the sheriff. Evening, guys. Looks like DTD was a good week. Gutted that it clashed with my halls, but well done to all involved. Thank you, Curtis. Good to hear from you. It was a great week, as indeed your holiday, because I'm sure I saw some snaps on the Facebook. You seem to be having a smashing time out there. I want to say Spain. Maybe it was the south of France, but it looked really nice. DTD was smashing. Thank you. And, talking of Curtis, of course, long-term Blonde Poker member, what a thrill to have TK turn up on the second last day to play some PLO with us, Leigh. That was a real thrill.
Yeah, he just said he was chuffed to bits just watching Dan all in against Beat Hater. Let's see, Dan's got the flush, but BP Hater has got the full house, turned the full house. So Dan is going to depart. So unlucky to him. Yeah, it was great to see Tony, and as he said himself, it's great having those 2 PLO games on the same day.
Yeah.
So you could, if you bust the one, you could then jump into the other one, and so if you're a real fan of PLO, and obviously it was a round of each as well, so PLO and PLO 8, then you could you could really mix it up and play, get to play both of them, which he appreciated greatly, and ran pretty deep in.
He did. He went out 21st in the. Was it the 4, 5, 6, Leigh? Can't remember now. But it was the second of those 2 PLOs. That was on the following day, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 the following day. Yeah. So. Right, so we've lost a couple of players now, so we're down to 18. So we're down to 3 tables of 6. So we can now we'll see these play down. And of course, JT's him is Mark Lasman as well. So Mark's got about 8 bigs
that's
in this
right.
at the moment. So
I remember us making some appropriate remarks with regards to that last time out. Okay, me.
Well, you might have. That wouldn't be me. I mean, it's.
You're far too straight for that.
Yeah, not having any of that nonsense. Absolutely not. So so Cardiff coming up in 2 weeks' time, and then before we know it, we're going to be over in Ash at the end of the month, and Malta will then come round and got a 3-way all in here. Stefan's all in against Nash Backs and Just Witty. Too many cards on show, Des, to be able to try and work out who's
no
got
chance,
what.
mate.
But Stefan's got the straight, and I think the straight's going to be good because there's no pair.
Yeah, Stefan is there.
Board's not paired, so Stefan's straight with the Queen Jack is going to be good enough, and that's going to leave Nash Backs with just under 2 bigs, and we'll bust the other player from Germany. So puts Stefan up now around 15 bigs. And Nash Backs is all in very next hand.
Quietly, Lee, this is beginning to move quickly.
Am I genuinely just listening to the transfer deadline window in the background?
Can you hear it? Hold on. Let me fix that. There you go. I should be better now, Lee. I've just turned that down.
We got 20 minutes left to sign somebody if you want to do it.
Can't be long now.
But it's not like this anyway, because it used to be the deadline cutoff. But now, as long as you've got your paperwork in, you can do it at 3 a.m, can't you? So it's not quite the same.
You do get a bit of added time. You get a bit of VAR time.
It's not the same anymore. It's not the same anymore where you've not got Harry Redknapp pulling into the car park with his window down.
Well,
none of that happens.
I'm off to QPR, Jim. I'm after a striker.
Anyway. Players just go on strike these days. That's what seems to happen. So, yeah.
Mr. Nunes. Is that right?
Yeah,
Nunes from Wolves?
Yeah, I think he did. He did a little bit of that by the sounds of it. And I don't think he's the only
one. He got his move, 53 million.
Yeah, it's all about a bit of creative accounting, isn't it? I mean, I'm quite shocked that Man City let Cole Palmer go to Chelsea. What was supposed to be one of the up and coming, but I can only assume it's a case of they needed to balance the books, and he's cost them nothing, so he's worth nothing on the books. So it made sense if Chelsea are going to pay that sort of money, but I think Chelsea potentially have got an absolute bargain there.
Yeah,
quite possibly. Meanwhile, third in chips, LS204 is all in against Bebusia, who's 71 bigs in the middle here, Des, and it's going to be turn the straight. So third in chips goes to second in chips, and we lose another player there, and that puts LS204 up to 77 bigs now, which is only just a couple of bigs short of Brendan's chip lead at the moment. Average stack is 34, but we're down to 15 players quite quickly.
This is this six-handed, Lee?
It is, yes.
Yeah. It's just moving. It's just moving really quickly.
Yeah, tomorrow night, guys, is 8-handed, the No Limit Hold'em. So tomorrow night we'll be playing 8-handed. And Stefan's going to win that one with another straight against Mega Heiner. And Stefan's now up to nearly 30 bigs. So pretty much nearly playing an average stack.
Good shape.
I've got another all-in on the other table, and it's Brendan up against Neil. And Neil's flopped a 7. He's got a pair of 7s, so goes comfortably ahead. I think it's only the case 8 is going to save Brendan from.
Well, Brendan is well
Neil
chipped up here.
He is, but that was for that. That pot is pretty much an average stack. So it's 38 bigs. So in they go. And I mean they're getting their chips in, considering the structure is, say, the average stack is 34 bigs, which for a PLO game is massive.
Yeah,
absolutely massive. But I know whether the six-handed makes much difference to it, I don't know. But they do seem to be going for it, I think, is the best way to describe it.
Well, I think we're seeing that again here. They're a bit like us, Lee. Once the flop comes down, they've no idea where they are.
Well, there's now 2 of them in this hand, and there's already 30 bigs in the middle on the 7-4
Here we go.
board.
Look at that, crikey!
It's all in the call. It's got straight draw, beat pater up against the aces. Needs an 8 or a club. It's not a club, and it's going to be a king, and the aces are going to hold for Marshak. And as Ellis 204 from Canada is kind of going on, it's so confusing. What's going on? What is going on? Yeah. So on we go. And
little
we've
tip
got a new chip leader in Marshak.
A little tip from Kerry here. So it is showing the people in the money in the lobby who have gone out, but of course that's just from the money.
Okay, yes. So from the money, yeah. Anyone that busts before that, I mean, you can use. You're able to go into in the main lobby and use PokerCraft to pick up the results and stuff. It's not a problem. It's quite handy to have them there when you're in the tournament lobby. I don't know why it's a little. There's a number of changes that they've made with the software with the latest update. I think if you were on the break, you'll have seen a little window come up telling you the stacks of the top the top chip leaders as well. So they've obviously made a number of little tweaks, and that's one they've decided they don't need that information in the lobby, which I guess for most people it's not relevant. For us, it's quite handy when we're doing a stream and we can see who's there. But yeah, it's. Say the PokerCraft, if you don't use it, it's a really good tool behind the scenes. Basically, a full database of all of the tournaments on GG. Really handy, and it's available to everybody.
And Martin Pope agrees with you, Lee. Great structure in this PLO. Thank you, Martin.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Well, it's following our main event structure at the Worlds. But it's 6 max, and obviously we're playing antes as well with PLO, which not everybody likes, but I think for this structure it works really well when it's 6 max as well, because you're not putting in as many on an orbit, but I think it works really well, and we are pretty much where I'd expect us to be time wise as well for a Friday night. So the guys start at 7:30, so we're 3 hours in, and we should be wrapped up in about 4.5, I would imagine. The chip lead is flying around the place here. Des, it was Brendan the Snapper for a while, and now Marshak has got it, and now Lucky Me 20 has overtaken Marshak.
I mean, this table is fairly well stacked, Lee.
Yeah, Ellis 204 has been up near the top throughout. So the top 4 have got between 65 and 78 bigs, as Brendan picks another little bit up there as well, which is going to move him back up to second. Need to lose 2 more players, and then we'll be down to 2 tables, as we're now down to 14 players, and 1 more, and we'll have a tiny pay jump as well. So. But the guys have got about 7 minutes, and they'll be on another break at 5 the hour. So it'll be the same tomorrow night. No limit hold'em though, guys. 7:30 start. Late reg exactly the same until 5 to 9. £25 is the buy-in. It is a freeze-out tournament, and it is going to be your last chance to pick up a WCOAP 2023 bracelet. That will be event number 25. That will be that. And once we've done that, we will be able to confirm the player of the series leaderboard. And the winner of that is going to pick up a UKPC main event seat worth £560 courtesy of GGPoker. And the runner-up will pick up a DTD 100 seat worth is it 120? I think they are. Which is courtesy of Dusk Till Dawn for their monthly event, which is 100k guaranteed every month. I think that's running this weekend, actually, does, isn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and great value on offer there.
Yeah, absolutely. So well worth getting involved and playing that if you can.
Do you ever consider going up for that one, Leigh?
It's just never. It always seems to clash with something because it's
Yeah.
kind of first weekend of the month kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a nice one. They put it on every month, and it hits the guarantee every month. So it's you're getting good value in it, and you get a couple of day one options as well. So you can if you are traveling there, you can actually have a couple of bullets if you
snaps.
want to, and give it a
Seriously
go.
tempted to do it. In the next month or two. Would love to play it. I mean, it's hard to go to DTD to witness all of the tournaments that we witnessed last week, albeit I'm sure 75% of them I couldn't play. But nonetheless, it's hard to go there and not to come away thinking, geez, I'd love to play.
Well, the thing is, you've got so much option at the moment. We're so lucky in the UK and further afield with the poker that's on at the moment. It is a real poker boom in the live arenas. It's just incredible. You see what's on coming up. Obviously, we're talking about the UKPC with GGPoker at Dusseldorf in January, which is going to be a huge event. But before you get to that, you've got all the rest of the GUKPT events. 888 are in at Grosvenor events. There's a UKIPT London, Brighton, Nottingham are all throughout the autumn. We're over at the Malta Poker Festival. You've got the Battle of Malta the weeks before the Malta Poker Festival. Then you've got the International Poker Open over in Dublin, the IPO, which we used to go to regularly with an APAT event over there. It's
non-stop.
It's absolutely packed, and that's before you look further afield to decide which of the three festivals you want to go and play in December, because there's the Caribbean, there's the
Vegas, the WPT Championship, right?
The WPT in Vegas, and there's a third one, isn't there? And I can't think what the third one is. But yeah, as to if you were going to look and travel to want to do that, which one of those you choose to go and play. I see that the North American Poker Tour is coming back. Which Stars used to run back in the day. So that's coming back in November with an event at Resorts World in Vegas, which they've not run for about sort of 10, 11 years or something like that. So it's effectively like the North American equivalent of the UK IPT or
Australis.
Is it Australis? Yeah. Over in Spain. Of course, the EPT over in Barcelona is going on at the moment. Friend of the show, Natalie Bromley, is out there at the moment.
Is she?
Yeah.
Is she playing in the Australis series?
Yeah, she's playing some bits and pieces. She's out there doing some stuff for Hearts of Queens as well. So is out there. So so it's just ridiculous, and that's before you look at what's online. GG are running. Obviously, you've got the WSOP online event at the moment. Is it 23 bracelet? It might be more than that. 33 bracelet events. There's a lot of bracelet events anyway. And I saw Dean Eggs was putting his schedule of what he was playing tonight. He's playing the mini main and then the milli maker, and then was going to jump on the cash tables, and because he's moved out of Vegas to be able to play this series, so he's gone elsewhere so he can play it. Really, it's just a ridiculous amount of poker going on at the moment, and so to do the sort of numbers we did last week in Nottingham, bang slap in the middle of everything else going on, I think is phenomenal, and just shows that there's a passion, and you think you nailed it, Des. It was phenomenal to see players that we've not seen for a long time come back and play for the first time in a while. It's been great to see players that we've only known online for a number of years, that we might have met for the first time at Dusseldorf, and to see completely brand new players that have either stumbled across APAT or heard about us. I can't seriously, the amount of people that said to me, "Oh yeah, I heard about when I was at Coventry." Yeah, when we were at the Goliath, and we saw the leaflets, or we saw your event and thought we'd come up and play this, and going on about just the variations of games, and keep doing it, just keep, because the players just loved it, which for us it's nothing nicer, is there really?
Yeah. It's fantastic to hear, and completely echo that, Leigh. A lot of people, just coming up to me and sort of saying, I've heard this was at DTT before. I haven't played it. Played it now. Wow. When are you back? It's good to see.
Even the valets. I mean, bless her. Nicola walked past as I was just taking the media board
Any
down.
food or drink?
With a little tear in her eye of, oh, you're packing down.
She was after your sweatshirts, Leigh.
We'll be back sooner than you know it.
Too right.
Poker Squad is just going to be around the corner if you want to get back to Dust of Dawn. If you haven't seen the post from Tom, he's already basically put a kind of, registering interest if you're thinking to get a squads team in. We're going to be sold out at that event. So if it's something you're interested in, playing squads, it's worth firing an email off to Tom and just registering your interest that you're after a team. It's teams of 4 up for the weekend. Day 1 is 3 rounds of sit and goes. Everybody plays 3 sit and goes. You earn points for your team to qualify for day 2. Every winner of the sit and go gets to pick one of the mystery prizes, which is about just over a third of the prize pool gets paid out on day 1 to the winners of the sit and goes. And then on day 2, if you've qualified your team through, you have to win 1 more sit and go to qualify your team onto the final table. If more than one of your team do that, you get double stack or triple stack or potentially quadruple stack on that final table. Once we know how many teams are on that final table, the remainder of the prize pool, so it's about 62.5% of the prize pool, just gets paid out to that final table.
Fantastic.
And on that final table, you can tag team in. So you can decide who wants to play, and you get a couple of extra team time banks, whereby if the player at the table is in the middle of a hand and they want to talk to their teammates, they can have a minute and they step away from the table and can talk about the hand that they're in and make a decision and then sit back down. So yeah, great fun. And something a little bit different to end the year for APAT Live. So it's going to be good.
Can't wait for it, Leigh. I think it'll be super popular. And there is a post within the Facebook group with a link to the applications for teams. As Leigh said, get your application in if you'd like to take part in that one, guys and gals. Leigh, we're on a break. 4 minutes left. I'm just going to run this Chris Walston interview that you did because I think it's just a nice 2.5 minute thing.
So here I am with Chris Ralston, World Champion of Amateur Poker main event winner for 2023. How does that sound, Chris?
Sounds pretty good, yeah. Chuffed to bits, to be honest. Yeah, indeed.
And how did you find the event as a whole? I mean, you came onto this final table as a kind of a joint chip leader, really. How was the event? What day 1 did you play first?
The first live one here, which was I think Friday.
Okay,
So yeah, like to be honest, any other UK IPTs or what I've ever done before, never even made day 2. Came close so many times, never actually made it. Once I qualified to day 2, that was it. I was just thinking, yeah, I could do this all the way. So as it turns out,
Well, we didn't see much of you on the feature table on day 2. You're one of the few we didn't really see. You were on an outer table quietly going about your business, yeah?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And what about that for a final table? I mean, there's a couple of big hands we can talk about there, but before we got to that, you were kind of, just chipping along nicely. What was your tactics going on to that final table?
It sounds really, really bad to say it, but it was a fairly easy game. Nothing to do with the guys who were playing, the obviously top quality guys. But again, not just like super lucky or whatever, but I just think I had a good game, no complaints whatsoever. I had a good run of cards, I had my losses and my wins, and yeah, ultimately it worked out.
And I guess when you've got a board which has got 4, 5, 6, 7 of hearts, and you're sat there with 8, 9 of hearts, how much are you just praying, oh please let him have the ace of hearts in his hand?
I never ever thought that I could be that lucky or him that unlucky. But yeah, that's what you're praying for.
And I think Matt at the time was probably second in chips, I guess, or close to that.
He was cruising along as well. I had to do a proper count. I thought I had him well covered. I guess I did, but yeah, he must have been like second chip or something like that. So. And
of course, then that final hand, Elliot short stacked. Yeah. Great, the suited connectors, the 8s is there, and you're just looking down at seeing the kings and going.
You see it when you see the kings, thinking, actually, this is probably just going to go down to this hand. But And again, yeah.
And then it held. So you are officially, APAT World Amateur Poker Champion for 2023. You do know means they've got to come back and defend the title in 2024.
Sure, why not? And it must be my lucky weekend because I won the seat to the UKIPT as well. So I'll be back here in December, I think, as a week.
Oh wow, fantastic! Well, on top,
you see me there again.
Well, on top of winning this, courtesy of GGPoker, you've also got a seat into the UKPC in January down here as well. Another £560 buy. You might be quite busy playing poker in the coming months.
First time in Nottingham, and yeah, it's going to be like 3 in a row, so that'll be good.
Well, on behalf of everyone at APAT and everyone that was railing at home, many, many congratulations. I'm sure we'll see you at future APATs.
Sure, thanks very much.
He was one calm. He was just a calm guy. Ultimately, he said it worked out, and it did.
Yeah, I think he nailed it there. Really, he said it just. Yeah, he didn't really have to think too hard about a lot of the hands. They just sort of played themselves, and but he did apply the pressure quite well. And there were a number of hands that we watched where, you know, he was applying pressure and then players were playing back, and he had the ability to just, you know, to fold and move on to the next hand. And he didn't seem to be overly phased.
Very calm.
Table. I was quite up close to obviously the players as the way we do the live stream, so I can do that. And yeah, it didn't seem at all bothered. And the timing of his beer arriving was absolutely perfect at the end of that. Yeah, really was. It was literally. So I've got it all in three way, and I've got kings and I've won it. Oh, and here's a beer. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
He almost had his hand out, sort of stretching for a yawn, and there was a beer right there.
Yeah,
it was quite funny.
Absolutely,
it was quite funny.
But nice guy, and I think introduced to APAT through Ben Burnhill and that group.
Yeah.
And Ben's brought a lot of new players into APAT down from Scotland for different events recently, and great. It's wonderful when you've got players and long-standing members of APAT like that are carrying on spreading the word and wanting to say, come and play these events. The structures are great. It's very friendly. In good venues, and you'll have a great weekend. And for Chris, well, yeah. That's about as good a weekend as you're going to get, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he as we said earlier in the stream, he seemed to walk away with everything, and that's what you want. A bit of momentum. He had a lot of it, and there were some good players at that final table. There were some accomplished players, there were some up and coming players that I think we're going to hear a lot about in future. He did well given that field.
He did, absolutely. I mean, Matt played very, very well. Obviously, Dave Amos has played APATs for a long, long time and a very consistent player, and has had some really good results lately. Elliot Crowder on there finished second in the UKPC earlier on this year,
right?
Which he won that seat from a free roll in the club.
Yeah,
and spun that up to 70,000. So. There's good quality players there. Gary on that final table,
good player,
a very very good player, and spoke very gracefully about APAT and the week he'd had as well. And he goes and plays, he plays lots of events all over the place, and was just and has been in the Facebook group and commenting recently as well. So that's nice to see. So just a really nice feel for it. And
absolutely,
everybody seemed pretty chilled with it.
Absolutely.
So
and we had a bit of fun with the live stream, Leigh, because for the first time in like all time, we had a bit of space around us. Now, the downside to that was that there was no rail, albeit the final table started pretty early on the, I want to say, the Bank Holiday Monday. So there were other events going on. We maybe wouldn't have had too big of a rail in any event, but it did feel a little bit disconnected. But it was quite nice in some sense, just from a streaming point of view, to be able to walk around the table and, not to have a ton of people asking you questions when you're physically doing the streaming. Which is only a minor.
And I think so compared to the previous year, we there were a couple of additional levels in there, which I think in the day two, which made a difference, and therefore we were bringing the those final 9 back as we just see Dave Garden bust the crowbar there, bust Danny, isn't it? So we are down to 12 now, so we're down to 2 tables. Yeah, so So by the time the guys had finished day 2, they played about 9.5 hours, including some breaks, but it's just a straight 15-minute break at dusk or dawn with the way we do the structure. So they played for 9.5 hours. So if the final table had gone on for as long as we thought it was going to be, which was 5 hours, they'd have been playing for about 14 hours that day if we'd have played it straight through. It's not really practical.
No.
For the
I thought it was great.
And I don't think it's fair. Yeah, and I think when they're coming back to a minimum cash of £2,000 and 15,000 up top, I think coming back for that final day works through very well. Yeah, exactly. And then you can give it your best. So I think that worked pretty well. Obviously, where we were located in the card room may have impacted on things a little bit, but also I think there would have been a rail maybe if there'd been some others that weren't playing other tournaments and people were dipping in seeing what was going on. So they kind of were aware of it. But of course, it was all on the stream as well. So I think we pretty much caught every hand and all the flops. So you kind of got all the action. So anybody that wanted to go back and see what how did it play out,
absolutely,
it's kind of a 3.5 hour thing to watch if you want. They've got to listen and they've got to put up with you and me, but other than that, it's worth doing. So.
And it's true to say, Leigh, that the majority of players who would have wanted to watch that stream or that final table were sort of there at DTD playing and doing stuff. So I would expect that stream will have got quite a lot of views post event. And it was nice also, which was a first for us. The stream actually went out live on pokernews.com, which I thought was pretty cool. So we had a tab up there alongside the EPT Barcelona, for example. Unusual, nice opportunity. Good of the PokerStars guys to be able to, Poker News guys to be able to turn that on for us. And of course, it worked out for them as well in that Dan came up to support it to a degree, ended up entering the PLO 456 event. 456, and ended up taking the bracelet.
And we let him win it.
Apparently won it.
Yeah. We pulled the right levers in the background, and so Dan could win that. So
I didn't think he'd have a chance because he's a gamble style player, Leigh. But who knew that style in that game would work?
Well, yeah, exactly. Give me 6 cards. I'm bound to be a winner.
Any 6, and I'm all in.
That's the way you've got to look. So we are down to 12 now, guys. So. Another tiny pay jump coming up, but we're creeping down towards this final table. So chip leader at the moment is Lucky Me 20, who's got 2.5 million chips, which is 62 bigs. Marshak is second with 2.35 million. Ellis 204 from Canada has been there or thereabouts throughout this tournament, Des, since I've been watching this. No Cash 40, 31 bigs for Dave Garden, and then Brendan the Snapper Burn. 1.3 million, 32 bigs. Optional 65, Brendan. Stefan, he's in 6th at the moment. So Mark Lasman is all in against Ellis 204. And that's going to be a good spot for Mark because it's basically going to be Jacks full of aces is going to give him a double up to 17 bigs through the player that was 3rd in chips. Puts Mark in a little bit of a stronger position. Average stack now is 27 bigs, so things are tightening up a little bit here now as we start getting down to the serious money and obviously the medals and the bracelet. Yeah,
Leigh, we met lots of interesting and new faces at DTD. Of course, we've talked about some of the international players, but one guy who played a lot, if not all, of the events possible, who wasn't part of the international crew, albeit he was Canadian. He travelled a lot playing poker. Was a very interesting character, and I think we got to know of him from Rich Baker initially. A guy called Dominic French.
Dominic French, yeah.
Dominic French, right? So he finished runner-up to Dan Williams in the 456 that we mentioned on the last day. In fact, it was the last heads-up of the live part of the WCOAP. But so many people come up to me and said, that guy up there, do you know who he is or what he's got? Because apparently he would say to people, do you come over here? Do you want to look in my bag? It was like really? But he's won 1 or 2 WBT rings. And I think he kept one of them in his man bag. And it's I don't think he was going out like showing people, but if it happened to pop up in discussion, he was able to actually say, here it is.
So he travels around playing poker. So heard of the event. Recently he just picked up a WSOP ring event, circuit event in St. Martin at the Caribbean.
WSOP rings, yes.
Yeah. Picked that up. And he's currently second in our Player of the Series.
I know.
Leader. Yeah. He's actually only second on countback because he's actually had three top 9 finishes, the same as Tariq Mahmood has, but Tariq had a win.
Yeah. Wow.
Whereas Dominic has had, I think, 2 seconds and then a very min cash. So
well, this is a guy. He's obviously not a pro, Leigh. I would think he's independently wealthy, but he's just enjoying the life of traveling around, collected some Hendon Mob flags and stuff like that. And, he came up and said just the structures and the events, real pleasure. He really enjoyed himself. And I asked him, well, how did you end up here? Well, he said, 2 weeks ago I was playing in Romania and somebody mentioned it in a card room. So he said, well, I'm looking for an excuse to go to the UK and get some flags. Maybe I'll go and play the APAT. And he did. So this is a guy who's played 25k Triton events, has obviously had a lot of success in, semi-serious events, the World Series of Poker and stuff like that. And he stuck around all week and played some £60 and £120 events, had the time of his life, was super nice to everyone. And he was quite happy to get his ring out for people.
Can't fault it, can you? Really?
So, I mean, real value.
Cannot fault it. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice to see, and this is the point, isn't it? Is when we talk about amateur poker players, some people, you can have the money or the finance to be able to travel and go and do these things, and what a life to do. And I'm sure they'll get to a point where he'll go, right, I'm bored of that now. I'll settle down with something and move on to something else.
Do something else.
Yeah.
I think he was saying
it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I think he was saying to Tom Leigh that he was interested in maybe getting involved or trying to, see if he could participate in the Canadian team at the next WCOAP. So that would be magnificent. If the player has come and has enjoyed it enough to want to, travel back from Canada at some point next year, fantastic. That's all you can ask for. And Chris Bean, one Mr. Chris Bean, Poker News' own Chris Bean, is on YouTube. Dom is a great guy. I met him in Malta last year. Absolute gent. And that's exactly what we thought as well. He is an award-winning documentary maker.
There you go. There you go.
We were looking for somebody to come in and do some videos, Leigh. Maybe we'll speak to Dom.
Three-way all in. We're going to lose Neil Vickers and we're going to lose Brendan Byrne to the chip leader. Lucky me 20. Absolutely crushing this now. That's taking them from 2.5 million to 4.1 million. Nearly twice as much as the next chip start with 2 players busted. So we're down to 10 now. Unlucky to Brendan there, who was at the top of these stacks for the vast majority of this, but has kind of run out of legs there and is going to finish in 11th. And Neil Vickers finished in 12th. So we're down to 10 Des, which means the guys now have all locked up just over £50. And we're getting up to the big money.
You betcha.
I'll have to check out what Dom's done in the way of documentaries and stuff. Yeah,
that's super interesting.
Yeah, see what he's done, and it allows him to travel around. But yeah, if he's getting to play a bit of poker and see some of the world. Talking to Sandro, who runs our event out in Ash for us and was captaining the German side, and he said, "I'm going to have to go and see something. Is the Nottingham Castle or something open on the Monday?" Because he said, "I can't go back and tell everyone at home that I came all the way to Nottingham and all I saw was a casino and a hotel for 6 days." Chip leaders all in again, and actually not all in, but winning a big pot against Ellis, who was second in chips. That's another million added to Lucky Me 20's stack.
Good shape now, 100 blinds.
Yeah, in really, really good shape. As I say, got 5.2 million now. Marshak, who is second in chips, has got just over 2 million, to give you an idea. lead that our chip leader has at the moment, as we're down to 10. But we've seen players travel before. Who was the Canadian player that travelled over from Canada to play in the team event years back? Michael Christiansen?
Yeah, Michael Christensen travelled a number of times. Christensen, he runs his own construction business in Canada. Very, very nice guy. But lots of people have. We had one.
It was great to see. Yeah, it was great to see back up to sort of 12 teams, and we keep saying we can always get more because obviously we no Italian team, no Belgian team this year, no French team this year, no Canadian team this year. The Swiss team would love to get back over and play. We haven't got the Hungarian team that we've not seen for
Scottish team. Scottish team barely showed up, Leigh.
Yeah, they were hardly there this year. Don't know what happened to them. Definitely not. But so we know that we comfortably can get more in. I know that I think Austria were looking to want to get a team in for next year for definite. Malta would. All in the call here. It's Marshak second in chips up against Mr. G 27 UK.
Mr. G's looking good here.
Actually, Mr. G's going to get a double up here, unless a four or a deuce would help. But it was only for 12 bigs, so Mr. G was pretty much the short stack, I think, of the remaining 10. So double up for them. But yeah, it's great to see. I thought it was really good. I thought Jen Mason did a fantastic job captaining the American team and getting that together again with a couple of short notice dropouts that she had to deal with. And I know her brother Ben stepped in and played, and he had an absolute blast. He was exhausted each day, but had an absolute blast. And I've got a feeling we'll see him back playing some events somewhere down the line. All in a call on the other table. It's Dave Garden is all in against Fush, and it's going to be Seven's going to play. I think is it. Seven going to play? Yes, it is. Yeah. So the 7 with the king kicker. So pair of 8s, pair of 7s with the king. So double up for the short stack on that table. No Cash 40 is third in chips at the moment. So on we'll go.
Charlie says, I've resigned Des from international duties. I don't think he's resigned me from international duties. Oh, maybe he means Ben. It could mean Ben. Honestly, there could be 3 separate meanings to that statement. He could be saying, I've resigned Des from international duties. What do you think he means, Leigh? Have they sacked Ben?
I think what you'll see is a lot more of a turnaround of the home nations teams, because we're seeing so many more new faces playing these events. All in a call, and it's Mark Lasman all in against Marshak, and Mark's in a very good place here. Just needs to avoid one of the 6s, which he does, and Mark's going to get a double up, but he was down to sort of four bigs himself. So, but Mark will double up to nearly 9. Yeah, we will see a kind of a continual churn of new faces into the team event, and people getting to experience those couple of days. Because until you experience it, it's quite difficult to explain, Des, isn't it? We've seen so many of these now. We know what the players go through, but very much it's you kind of you need to be there, and once you're in it, it does kind of just become all absorbing and takes over your world for a couple of days whilst you're trying to do the best for your country.
Yeah. It's just the picture that, just we rechurn it every single year, a fresh version of, 30 players stood around one TV screen going, but what does it mean? What do I need to do? Someone tell me.
Tell me what's going on. Yeah,
who's ahead? And it's super clear,
we make it as simple as we possibly can. Yeah, it's. But you remember back in the day before we put it up on the big screen, they used to be over your
behind
shoulder,
the laptop.
Over your shoulder at a laptop.
Oh my word!
Yeah. No pressure as you're trying to type results in, and you've got 30 sets of eyes watching you. Ellis is all in against the chip leader. It's effectively aces versus queens, but it's 2 pair now for lucky me. And is 2 pair going to hold? Yes,
does.
it is. 2 pair is going to hold. So the Jack and 8 plays to give 2 pair for lucky me. Say aces aren't always the best in this game. Meanwhile, Mega Heiner is all in against Dandy Gandy. It's aces again. The board is paired though with a 9, so that's going to help the aces. So I just need to avoid need to avoid a 10 there, I think it was, and does. So it's going to be a double up for. Actually, not going to be a double up. Dandy Gandy just had Mega Heiner covered, so we're down to. That's going to be down to 8 players now, I think. So, which means we're going to go hand for hand for the final table. One more bust out, and we'll play a final table of 7, Des. So, 8 players remaining now. So,
Fabulous.
They've now all locked up £91. A couple of short stacks here. So, Fish has got 6 bigs, and then Mr. G and Mark Lasman, JT's have got about 10 bigs each. So they're the short stacks we're keeping an eye on here. So I'm going to guess Dandy Gandy might be who was in the chat earlier. Martin Sheridan Pope was in the chat earlier.
Yes, he was
saying he's short stack now. I think Martin Sheridan Pope might be Dandy Gandy. Quite possibly.
Let us know, Martin.
Confirm that if he's still in the chat and listening, he might confirm that. So we are hand for hand here, guys. So just in case you're wondering, but Fish is all in against no cash, and it's a flush draw for Dave. He's now hit 1 pair, so there's other options as well. King 9 or a deuce or a club, and
he gets there.
And he gets there, which means Fush is going to finish in 8th place, which means we are going to have our final table. Let's see if it opens afresh or whether it's going to open afresh, Des. So bear with me 1 second, and I will get a final table up for you.
Fantastic. We'll just go back to that and give you a bit of space.
Check the color out on this. Wowzers.
Color.
Looks like players are on they're sending players. Looks like they send players on a little bit of a break now on this final table until they all click to say they're ready to go, I think.
They walked away to make a deal, Lee.
Check this out. So,
that looks a bit spangly. Is that a thing? Table?
Yeah, that is a thing. That is a final table thing. So yeah, players. Again, they've updated the software today, I think. So
wow.
So it looks like now when you hit a final table, they give players the option of a break. I'm assuming it's one of those click when you're ready things as standard. So I'm not sure whether you need a break when you hit a final table, but I don't know. Maybe you do. You want to focus and go and get a drink or get yourself ready, a quick stretch. I don't know. What do you do before you made your last final table, Des?
Lee, I haven't made a final table for quite a long time, I have to say. It's been a while.
Not even in the Duffy home game? Does that not even count?
Well, we played a Duffy home game tonight. I did make the final table of that one. I got to third, Lee. We didn't have any medals. There was only 4 of us playing. It was a young Duffy whippersnapper that took the honours in the end.
Outrageous. So yeah, we can confirm Martin Sheridan Pope is in fact Dandy Gandy. So good luck to you, Martin, on this final table.
And regrettably, Lee, Charlie is saying, let the young guns have a go. Incredible 2 years. We'll never forget. That would appear to be Charlie stepping back from the international scene. Here was us on the show. It's been lovely having, and I don't for a minute think that we won't be seeing Charlie at WCOAP again. But, a lovely contributor to that team event. Very, just very solid guy, I would say. Very, very solid guy.
I mean, it is a bit weird when Charlie says, let the young'uns have a go, and he's got Naz in the team.
Yeah, he's only a kid, Charlie.
Because Naz is significantly older than you might think.
But that's the thing, isn't it? He's older than you might think, but actually he looks about like 32. I mean, Naz looks young.
Yeah. He's got a few kids as well, which means you'd have thought that would have aged him quickly, but apparently not.
He's obviously got the secret, and I have to say, I don't know how he does it, but it seemed like no matter what corner of D2D I walked to.
Do you know your word exactly what you said there? Anna behind the bar asked him Well, what's your secret, Naz?
Did you
What's your
really?
secret? Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, it's fantastic. Well, like somebody had to tell her that he was what the age he is. Surely, I mean,
Oh yeah, they all couldn't wait to tell her.
because
Yeah, obviously.
he looks
yeah.
old for 27, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Carrie is saying, is it 51? I'm not sure, but he looks amazing for it.
Oh, Kerry, you can't ask a man what his age. I mean, that's so you
not
can't
sure.
do it. Yeah.
Well, we looked at each other for a little while, and Naz was saying, "No, I'm definitely older than you," to me, and I was saying, "I don't think so, Naz. I think I'm like a bit older than you." But yeah, he looks amazing for his age, I have to say. But no matter what corner of D2D that I went to over several days, he seemed to be playing at a table in that corner. So he was going deep. It seemed like he was going deep in a lot of things, or maybe he wasn't, and he was just re-entering things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, talking about people going deep in events, Lucky Me 20. Look at that for a stack, 6.8 million. Lucky Me 20,
shape.
if you're out there, if you're watching the stream, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know who Lucky Me 20 is. So, yeah, if you're out there and want to actually kind of let us know who we're talking about, that will be great. We know No Cash 40 is
Dave
Dave. Is it Dave Garden or actually it might be Dave Cash? Actually, I say maybe it's No Shoes.
Definitely Dave Garden.
I may have been saying Dave Garden, but actually I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, No Cash is
I'd
Dave
imagine
Garden.
it would be.
Yeah.
I imagine it would be. Yeah. I'd imagine it would be. Yeah. So.
Oh my word! What's going
So
on
before
here?
we begin, players are given the option to switch seats.
What?
What the hell's going on here? It is now your turn to switch seats. Player switching seats. Oh, he has switched seats.
What?
So now Jay Tism can choose to switch seats.
So is this they
Goodness
do it in small
me.
blind order?
Yeah.
But you get up to the bigger blinds and they could just move again anyway.
Well, no, I presume does the big blind not get to move?
I don't know. Crikey. This is...
But surely whilst everybody's moved around, you're back where you started, aren't you? Surely.
Yeah.
This seems nonsensical.
Yeah, Dave's just confirmed. No, it's me.
Oh, David is him. Yeah, no, it is.
Dave
I
Garden.
thought it was. Yeah.
This is I want to say innovative. I really want to say innovative, Leigh, but I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this is. It seems a little unusual. Time has expired, so it's even against a clock. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
Marshak has got a chance to move, and is Marshak? This is exciting. Is Marshak going
What's
to move?
different?
Right. Now let's see what the expert's going to do. Dave Garden, is No Cash going to move? Or is he going to stay where he is? He's moving. He's moving. He's moving to
The same seat.
place, isn't he? Yeah. And then Lucky Me 20 gets the option as well. I mean, really? Surely then, as a chip leader, you would, if you're last to decide, you would then be able to position yourself.
Yeah. Just in
That
optimum
seems-
position.
I mean,
On your number two, on
no,
your
I mean,
crikey.
guys, in the chat, tell us what the hell you make about that.
There's something to do with
you
the
know,
game
what
clock
the-
being calculated by something.
Yeah, so let us know. Yeah, I mean, Mark's saying he chose the button as a low stack, but obviously then others are then moving after you, Mark. So
But I guess they-
sounds great in principle.
But I guess the button didn't move, Leigh. So if he's moved into the button seat,
Yeah. So there's now a new game clock feature on this final table as well, which is counting down. So they've got 15 minutes worth of game time on this final table by the looks of it.
also a bit like chess.
This is interesting.
So what does that mean, Leigh? What happens when the
So
15 minutes elapses?
I'm assuming you've got 15 minutes to act throughout the final table.
Yeah. And what if it goes? I guess you have to make
didn't
pretty
read that bit.
instantaneous decisions. Wow.
Yeah.
So Rich Baker
I
says
quite
it's
like
been
this.
like this for a little while. I met an FT before the WCOAP, and it was doing this then. Martin
Thin
says,
rag. Thin
Musical
brag.
chairs. A bit like musical chairs.
Well,
Wow.
we've not seen it on one of our final tables that I'm aware of. So,
No.
but maybe it's maybe it's just we've only run satellites maybe for the last few weeks, so we haven't seen anything else. That could be the case actually, because we have just been running satellites, haven't we? So that we've been
I guess
following and stuff. So.
we'll be open-minded to it. It's definitely a bit of, it's definitely a bit different.
But let us know, guys. So if you're taking longer, so is it you've got? So they're not all counting down. So why did Dandy Gandy's count down? Because they took longer than maybe the initial 10 seconds or 5 seconds. What's the time? So it's now blinds that go up every 12 hands. Carey said rather than timed.
Gee. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the blinds are now going up every 2 orbits, effectively, rather than on this final table. Okay. This is all interesting stuff.
I guess there must be a page somewhere on the website just detailing out what this is about.
I'm just looking in the lobby, and yeah, the levels now. They're counting down hands, so there's 10 hands to go.
Okay.
So the interesting one is this clock thing, which it looks like if you're taking more than sort of 5 or 10 seconds to make a decision, your clock starts counting down. So it's a time bank that you've got for the entire final table, basically.
Yeah.
So rather than being able to take 30 seconds every single hand, every single decision, or whatever, or you're maxing it out. So Rich says it's like a shot clock. So. Dave Garden's all in against Mr. G 27. It's the aces, but it's a straight for Mr. G. It's going to need to be a paired board for Dave, and it's not going to be, which means Mr. G is turned the straight and rivered the flush, and Dave's 3 aces are not going to be good enough there. So double up for Mr. G through Dave Garden.
Carrie is looking for clarification on this timing thing. She says, I need to go back on the live stream so I can read it. Carrie is officially going back in time to try and figure out what's going on here. Then she will venture forward in time and share that information with us.
Is she outside revving up the DeLorean as we speak?
I think that's what's happening.
Oh, this is quite cool, actually, Des. I quite like this.
I mean, should never be close to these things. It's definitely engaging because we're talking about it.
Yeah,
you've got to shake it up a bit. If you're a pro, this will shake things up a bit, right?
Yeah. Well, if you're on the final table, it's a case of you've got an option to.
Do you see the deal has come up there?
Yeah,
the hell's that?
So I'm guessing if everybody, I'm guessing that's final table deal options. I would guess, and you can just put a little sign up to say that's
wow.
So I don't know whether it's because it's featured final table when it's more than 45 entries, quite possibly. But Lucky Me 20 picks up another one there. Yeah, there seems to be a lot more settings on. There's also final table blind rollback as well, down to 40 bigs when there are more than 45 entries. This is all good stuff.
Rich says, a dealer in a pat event? I think this might be outside of our control, this one.
Yeah, but they all popped out to the car park outside and have come to an agreement. Yeah, that's what they did. That's when they were on a break. That's what happened.
We saw them out there, didn't we?
Yeah, I do. I do think, say the tournament setup. This is quite nice for a final table, though. I think when you're playing for some decent cash here. Someone's going to spin up £25 into 655 by the end of the night. I may have actually done it for £1, actually, or even from the free roll on Tuesday night. We gave away 20 seats on the free roll on Tuesday night. So It'd be great to hear if somebody's done that.
It's all gone a little bit quiet now, Leigh.
Yeah, it's we've had a couple of the short stacks are doubled up early on, haven't they? And so it's all got to. I think everyone's just in awe at the money sat behind them on this table. I mean, it's all got a bit.
I think they're all trying to figure out what the hell is happening with the functionality in the clock. And
Well, I'm just looking at the settings. So I think when a tournament is more than 45 runners, the featured final table kicks in. So I think that's what this is. So so this is which maybe for some of our other events during the week, we're getting maybe sort of around that sort of mark. So we might not always see this.
Yeah.
But looking at the way the time banks, this kind of shot clock time bank thing's dropping down, you'd be hard pushed to do 15 minutes on a final table of 7, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd assume so. But interestingly, a couple of them haven't dropped at all. I don't know whether. Well, I mean, we can see Lucky Me's in a hand now, and he's still got his 15 minutes up there.
Yeah, and there's another big pot off Dave Garden there. That's put Dave down now into 4th. And Lucky Me 20 is up to 8 million in chips now. Which is just ridiculous. There's 12.9 million chips in play, Des. So
yeah.
Lucky Me's got two-thirds of the chips. Pretty much.
Wow, 200 bigs.
Yeah, with 7 players remaining. Average stack is actually 46 bigs, but it's so skewed by the chip leader.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, of course, and you can see that around the top 4 players on our screen there. Leigh, 16 bigs, 15 bigs, 16 and 10. Less comfortable, I would say, than Lucky Me.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to now know what to do because so the guys have all locked up 120 pounds. But if some of these short stacks disappear and you then start talking 4th place money is 280, 3rd place money is 373, 2nd is 494. That's big. There's some big pay jumps from the 120 you've currently got locked up. You don't want to be going out in 7th really here, do you? No. You want to try and ladder up a couple of places and turn that 120 into 200 and something or 300 and something ideally. And looking at the stacks around everywhere else, everybody else other than Mars Jack is now pretty much on an between 10 and between the 10 and 17 bigs you just mentioned. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really you don't want to be the one going out in 6th and 7th here.
What I really want, Leigh, is that money-themed carpet that they've got. I need one of them for the sitting room.
Yeah. So Charlie just said in chat, just notice after the update there isn't a list of KO'd players. Curious as to why. So, well, no, I mentioned it earlier on, and I don't quite understand why they felt the need to remove that from the lobby. But all you get now is those that have bust in the money and those remaining. So, and Mark is all in against the chip leader. It's effectively queens for Mark, and I'm assuming there's aces behind there. There is with hearts as well, and hearts on the flop. Neither have got a 5, so that's not going to affect anything. So it's going to need to be a queen and not a red one.
Not to be. Unlucky Mark.
Actually, a red queen would have been okay because actually there's the bordered paired, so that would have been okay. But Mark's going to be the player that finishes in 7th, picking up £121. Very well done to you, Mark. Great run. And Lucky Me just keeps adding to chips. Another $500,000 to their stack, and we're down to 6. say after tomorrow night's event, we'll be able to wrap up the player of the series. You'll have to bear with us though, because we will need to go and just tie up some real names with usernames with GG and make sure that's all verified and so it's got to be a proper official. So it may well be that we don't actually kind of confirm that until probably maybe Monday next week. So you'll have to just bear with us on that one. We did put up the leaderboard as it stood at the moment, so everybody had a fair look to know where they stood going into these last two online events. But you'll have to bear with us on that, because we said we just have to just tie up real names and make sure that they are the same as those that played at Dusk Till Dawn, if there's anyone that's done that. So
Simon thinks that they're possibly trying to mess up SharkScope or the data.
So the data mining.
People.
That yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting thought. Although I have to say it's less valuable for those people to see where the exits are, albeit they do record them, non-cash exits. Stefan manages to get that one through. A little bit of relief there.
Yeah, but for the others, Mr. G, Dandy Gandy, and No Cash now, it's who's going to make a move, and it's Dave Garden that raises to 3.5 bigs. Has been called by the chip leader, so there's 9 bigs in the middle. Dave's got 7.3 behind, gets them all in. Chip leader's going to call. There's a queen out there for Dave, and actually the pair of threes is now with the pair of fours on the board, puts Dave in a pretty strong spot here.
Oh wow, 3 on the end. One of only 2 cards that could top them.
There weren't many options that were going to affect Dave, and that was one of them. And Dave Garden is going to depart in 6th place, picking up £160. So this is what I mean about players laddering up quite nicely now. The min cash now is 212. Of course, when we talk about players that are in with a shout here, Stefan.
He's got 9 points on the board at least, right?
An event, and I think it might just be no. He's actually got 11.
Has he 11?
So he's had, because he had 2 points from something else as well. So he needs to pick a
6, 7
top
points.
3 finish.
Yeah,
a top 3 finish will put him level at the top, and I think then on count back he may be in a better, because he'll have won one and then he'll have a third as well. So he might be in a strong position. He will be focused on that. If he can actually get a second or a first in this, then that's going to put him clear at the top with one event to go.
You'd want to be clear at the top. You're in the clubhouse effectively with a free round.
Yeah, and I'd imagine tomorrow we'll get similar sorts of numbers to tonight. So it's going to be a tough one to get through to finish top 9 tomorrow night. That's for sure. So folded all the way around to Marshak, who raises into Mr. G's big blind.
Leigh, a lovely SMI is on Twitch watching in. I noticed something on your channel that I think needs to be changed. I suspect Leigh's referring to you and I.
That would make sense.
I think that could improve the numbers.
Are you just going to jump into Discord and have that discussion?
I'm going to do absolutely that.
Excellent. Do you need to go off camera whilst you do this?
He's just sent me a message that he thinks if we can get Phil Ivey and Phil Hellmuth to host the show, the numbers could go up.
Who's playing who? Is Hellmuth going to play you, or Hellmuth going to play me?
I think you, Leigh. You've been slightly taller.
Yeah. Taller. That's what I was thinking. It's the height thing. Yeah, it's the height thing.
It's mostly the height thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair enough. That makes a good shout. Well, I mean, obviously, we're always prepared to listen to feedback. If you said nothing else about APAT in the last 17 years, you'd say we do love listening to feedback.
We listen to significant feedback, Leigh.
We certainly do. Stefan's toying with the chip leader here, lucky me. And I think Stefan's going to be getting a good spot there, and is going to pick up just a little pot, but puts Stefan up round now about 17 bigs, and Mr. G and Dandy Gandy now are both down at 6, with the blinds on their way round. Now we've seen with PLO days, you can properly hang out till to very few big blinds before you have to get your chips in the middle. But this is so distorted by the 152 big stack of Lucky Me 20. And of course, what Lucky Me wants to do here really is just beat away at Marshak and an optional, really.
Yes.
You don't want to lose these 2 short stacks. You want to just keep beating away at the others. To make it very difficult for anybody to even get close to you when you do get to a heads up position.
Well, I think we're looking at a decision for our tournament life here, Leigh. I think that's what we are watching, that thinking process.
Yeah,
and
Mr. G's going to let that one go. Yeah. Oh, Rich Baker makes a true point. Helmuth wears headphones, though, Des. Maybe Helmuth should be you.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, Leigh, he doesn't always wear headphones. I think I can probably prove that. There you go. There you go. I just happen to have that, Leigh. I just happen to have that.
Literally, you happen to have that photo just
it's
lying
just,
around.
I keep that in my that in my collection, Leigh. Do you want to see any more? How about that one?
People can have a go about me
Leigh,
back to things from things from the past.
I'm just waiting to put up my Steve Forte one, and then I will have the full set.
Oh, okay, right. Have you got
Little
one
Des?
No? Little Des.
I think I've been called Little Des for a while.
Dandy Gandy's all in against Jupiter,
and
is not in a good place, but is going to need
Come
to
on,
hit.
Martin.
10 is a good start.
He's become a favourite here.
Now pretty much makes it, super very. Needs to avoid a heart, really, or a jack. And does.
That'll do.
And so double up for Dandy Gandy for Martin, yeah.
That will do. And Leigh, Kerry also says, you have a Discord, question mark. Let me tell you, Kerry, you do not need another Discord in your life. Right, there are too many social channels to follow these days. I don't think we have a Discord, Leigh. I think we're going to steer clear of that one.
We are on Poker News's Discord. If you did need to find us anywhere, just put all requests to Dan Williams, care of Poker News. He'll deal with all of those for you. He manages that for us.
If you just come through me first, though, please, for that little special bonus that we offer.
So that's it. So Little Des. If you just like to, put
Little Des at discord.com.
I think he called me superstar, if I remember rightly. I think, to be fair, so Steve's obviously a very good judge of character. Can't fault him, really.
It was nice to meet him. Lovely guy.
Lovely to meet Steve, and great to get a photo as well. And I thought his little message up today was lovely. Just genuinely, that's what he wanted to come up for the day. And he travelled all the way up for the day, played an event, didn't go very well at the poker, but went away very happy. And hopefully we'll see him at future events. And it won't be as long between his APAT appearances this time. That'll be good.
We have to get him on the show now. We're going to have another round of we're going to sort out the tech.
Mr. G is all in and has got some 4s. Got lots of dodge here, but has hit a king and a jack, which
decent
puts him
start.
Miles ahead. Just needs to avoid a 4 now. They don't want a 4 of all the things. It's not going to be a 4 because it's blue, so it's going to be
full double.
A double up for Mr. G. Isn't that funny how you're wanting to hit your 4, and then by the end of that hand, you're wanting to avoid one of the 2 4s remaining in the pack. And that is the case. So all of a sudden, Dandy Gandy and Mr. G, that were getting really, really short stacked, have both got a double up. And are now not a million miles away from Stefan Roda, optional 65 stack. Still a long way to go in this. 5 players left.
It's going good. I mean, it feels like time is flying by. Still 10 to 12. We've been on for close to 2 hours now. and it's going nicely.
Yeah, and I mean, this could. We know how this works with pot limit Omaha. This can escalate quite quickly. But I think at the moment the players are playing pretty tight until they need. They're at a point where they've just got to get the chips in and just hope. Because obviously it is just this money jumps. And wow, Stefan is all in and is in a great spot. But he's now going to have to hit. It's going to get.
It's chop.
It's going to get chopped, isn't it? I think, yeah. With the straights, yeah. So, actually, on the turn, Stefan had a little bit the better of it because he had other redraw. He had redraws to actually take down the whole hand. I think he's probably quite happy just to come away with that with a chop against the chip leader. But yeah, we're from a money point of view now. So it's 212 for fifth place, then it goes 282. 373, 494, and then 655 up top. So the jumps start getting quite steep now for the players. So it's when you've got a couple of players around you with a similar stack size, you kind of go, well, yeah, you don't want it to be you really out next if you can help it. So it does mean you probably tighten up your game. I think the reality of this, Des, is anybody looking at this thinking they're going to be able to beat Lucky Me, or is everybody already here playing for second? Arguably, maybe even third at the moment. It's hard to see any of the other four coming back and winning this at this point.
Poker players can be an optimistic bunch, though, Leigh. I'm sure, while there is a chance, we'll be playing for the win, I would imagine. But mathematically...
I wonder what, five-handed... With the stacks as they are, I wonder what odds you'd get on Lucky Me 20 to win this now.
Oh, yeah. Even five-handed, I would imagine they are extremely short. Man City type odds, I'd have thought.
So. Yeah, I'd have thought so.
What did you make of the Champions League draw, Leigh? Who did United end up with? Just remind me.
We've got Bayern Munich.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right. Galatasaray
and the Danish
Copenhagen.
Yeah, not the easiest of groups.
No, Galatasaray away will be, I guess, a defining game in theory. That always tends to be a defining.
We will. We could easily slip up in that group and not get out of it. It's very, very, very doable of us to not get through that group. I mean, on paper. We should be comfortably better than Galatasaray and Copenhagen, and maybe give Bayern a bit of a game. But the way we've started the season at the moment is that's not happening at all. I'm hoping now with everybody, transfer window done and players bedding in, and we can get on with it. But of course, it doesn't help going to the Emirates on Sunday because that's a game which. At the moment, we haven't got a good record in recent times. Arsenal are looking good, so and they've strengthened as well. So we need to kind of just find a bit of form and get moving. We've had a couple. Our 2 wins so far this season have been pretty lucky. So that can't continue. We need to deal with it. So Mr. G raises up under the gun +1 or the. Okay, Lucky Me just steps out the way.
I can't remember the 4 teams in the group, but Newcastle ended up in PSG's group, and I think they've got 2 other. Is it AC Milan and
Milan and Borussia Dortmund?
Borussia Dortmund. I mean, an absolutely phenomenal group. And I would have thought if you're a Newcastle fan, well, it's it feels like a group of death. It's going to be hard to get out of. But you're probably looking at that and going, yes. I want to see those games.
But when you look at the pot that they're in, you could have looked at the best possible scenario for them, and it still would have been tough.
It would have been ugly, of course. But those are glamour ties, right?
So that's my point. Is you might just as well take let's play. I mean, you think of those 4 stadiums, because St James's Park will be rocking.
Oh, these are going to be absolutely fantastic. San Siro.
St James's Park is the second biggest stadium in the Premier League. I mean, it's
you got the yellow wall in Dortmund. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, Yeah, it'll be every single game in that group will be, you'll be wanting to watch it. So
certainly if I was a Newcastle fan,
Very,
I'd look
very
at that draw and think that is absolutely the dream draw. Because to be honest, I would fancy I'd give them a shot at getting out for sure.
Mr. G is all in. He's a little bit behind, and he's going to need a hit, but it's got plenty of outs. Queens, eights, or sevens
That's
will do
degrading.
it, but it's got a 1 in 5 chance. And King is not going to help, and we're going to lose Mr. G in 5th place, picking up £212. And then there were 4. We are on the medal bubble, Des.
Wowzers.
And at the moment, it is Stefan Roda who is the short stack here.
Brighton, Leigh, similarly in the Thursday Night Cup, I think got a glamorous group with Ajax and others of that ilk to give them, just a super entry into Europe. And I think they could do well there as well.
Yeah, no reason why not.
Not that you'll be looking down at the Europa League situation this year. You'd be quite happy to be out of that.
They did some draw thing, didn't they, today, I think? Yeah, I think. So I can just confirm if Stefan does finish 3rd, he would go top of the Player of the Series.
Added spice.
And it looks like I hope Martin's.
He's gone for a wee-wee, Leigh. I can give you a live update. Gone for a wee-wee. He's tinkling as we speak.
Marshak is going to win that pot, which is going to mean we are 5 to the hour, so players are going to be on another break. And it is going to be Stefan that is the short stack here now with 4.6 bigs. Dandy Gandy, Martin, Sheridan Pope with 6.8, and then Marshak with 31 bigs. And lucky me, just still top of the pile, 141 bigs, and they're all chasing those medals.
Living the dream,
absolutely. And if Stefan optional 65 can finish 3rd or above, he will go top of the Player of the Series with one more event to go.
Wow, that has added a bit of spice to our finish here. Leigh, while the players are on a break, I'm just going to play this. One of the charities we gave some support to in Nottingham, and we think this is important.
What is Talk Club? Talk Club is a talking and listening community for men, a mental fitness movement, like going to the gym but for your mind. It helps you check in with how you feel and own it. It's all based around how are you out of 10 and explaining why. So, how does it work? It begins online. Go to talkclub.org, join the online community and find a club near you. Groups are held in private areas of public spaces where men feel comfortable, like above pubs or gyms. There are normally 8 to 10 men to a talk. The captain leads the group and reminds everyone to switch off their phones, to respect each other and give no advice. Everything stays confidential between the group. There's a talking ball so everyone can take their turn to talk, and most importantly, not talk over each other. Each man talks while everyone else listens and then passes the ball on to the next man. The captain begins with how are you out of 10, 1 being low, 10 being on top of the world. Then try and explain why. After everyone has talked, we then move on to the second round. What are the positives in your life? What moments from the last week are you really grateful for? Family, job, hobby. Then it's, what are your plans for mental fitness this week? Sleep, diet, exercise. And then before we finish, check out numbers. What are you now? This helps us to see that we can feel lighter than when we started. But it doesn't end there. You might want to join a talk and move group where you check in, do exercise, then check out. Or at the other end of the scale, need to talk more. We now have Talk Club group therapy run by qualified therapists. Talk, Move, Therapy. Join us at talkclub.org.
There we go. We like that.
Yeah, we sure do. And So raised a good little bit of money from sale of some merchandise last week for Talk Club, and if you do need more information, just go to talkclub.org. Have a listen back. One of the previous shows, you'll find it on YouTube, where we had Simon Brook on, who's a trustee and treasurer for the organisation, and a long-standing APAC member, who spoke very passionately about what Talk Club does and how it may benefit you or someone you know. Well worth checking out. So we've got about a minute left on this break, and then these 4 players will come back, and we'll find out who is going to pick up the medals in this and the bracelet. No one's even got close to using their 15 minutes up.
No, I was looking at that, Leigh.
It seems, it seems to say it's a nice thing to have, but it doesn't seem like anybody's got even remotely close to doing that. But we'll see what happens if there's any big decisions. I don't know how you play poker, but I'm normally, very rare do I need to make too much of a decision. I've normally already kind of got in my head what's going to happen if, I have what ifs already of like what's likely to happen and what I'm going to do. So it's very rare do you actually have a big decision to make. We didn't see much of that at Nottingham actually on the final table. I didn't feel there was a huge amount. There was, the odd time bank got thrown in. But often they just threw a time bank in when they knew they were going to raise, but they were just trying to work out how much it was going to be. So they just threw a time bank in to give themselves that chance to do that. So, I didn't think there was a huge amount of tough decisions to have to make, which I guess Chris summed up in his interview, perhaps.
Absolutely. And I think that was most visible by the fact that, pretty much all of the players that I saw with time banks still had time banks. They weren't like using them all up, and we didn't have any, and it was a problem. It was ample time to make decisions.
Absolutely.
And of course,
so,
if it reduces the big duels, Leigh, that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rich Baker says in the chat, with it being hand counts rather than big blind levels, the clock seems surplus to requirements. Yeah, I kind of sort of see that, because you can take as long as you want for a hand, I suppose, really. Not that you'd want to drag it out for forever. A little shove from Stefan gets through there, which could be all important here, as Lucky Me comes out firing with a bet now, which is going to be enough to commit either Dandy Gandy or optional if they go for it. They're not going to. Both hanging on. I mean, the next pay jump, Des, is about £90. So, that'll buy you a few spicy chicken pastas, won't it? Really? Let's be sensible about this.
Are you missing them, Leigh? Do you have the DTs?
No. I'm all good. I'm all good. It was so I do quite like the menu at Dusseldorf, and I think it's they've done a good job with it. Stefan is going to be all in against Lucky Me. Ace King Queen 10 for Lucky Me. It's Ace Jack 7. Well, a Jack on the flop is a great start. There's lots of outs now for Lucky Me with the King on the turn. Needs to avoid a 9, a Queen, or a 10 for Stefan, or we're going to lose Stefan, and it's going to be a King, which is going to be okay. It'll be a double up for Stefan. And on we go. So Dandy Gandy in the under the gun, and another raise from Lucky Me. Marshak's not going to play back. Right, let's see. It's Dandy Gandy's big blind this time. Let's see whether it's going to be another raise. Not this time. Will Marshak raise, or is Marshak going to give one? Marshak's going to raise. So is this going to be Martin's point? No, he's going to fold down to 3 bigs. Difficult to know here whether Stefan's got his eye on the on the player of the series, potentially, and is thinking, well, he's going to call Dandy Gandy here, but Lucky Me is also in this hand as well. They're going to check this down. Looks like they're going to check this all the way down. They are. So show and take. It's going to be is the Jack going to play? Ace? Aces for Stefan, yeah. And
Lucky
Stefan's
Martin.
got the aces. Well, that's going to be Martin finishing in 4th place. Very well done to him, picking up £281. And we have our medalists. Only one of which we know, which is optional 65. That's Stefan Roda. 3rd place finish, Stefan, means I can tell you now he is going to be top of player of the series with one event to go, Des. That is for sure. And he's going to be picking up another medal. It's going to be tough to make it a gold, but he's not too far off Marshak here now. Stack wise, so decision for Stefan here. Does he want to just start applying a bit of pressure here and try and go for the win here? If he does, he's going to need to try and get stacked up, which means he's going to really need to look to at least double up through one of the other guys first of all. But £373 is now the cash for 3rd place. It then goes 494 for 2nd, and then 655 up top. Interested to see how Stefan chooses to play this, Des.
Yeah, I just get a sense that maybe, he's looked at Lucky Me and thought, well, maybe tonight is not bracelet night, therefore objective number 1, we need to get 2nd place, 3rd place points locked up, and he's played it accordingly. Potentially play a lot freer now that he's sort of achieved objective number 1, really. How would you be playing this if you were Lucky Me? Would you be throwing your chips around or playing it nice and calmly?
You just keep playing aggressive, playing aggressively, which is exactly what I've done there. You can afford to, raise pretty much every hand and. See a flop, and if you don't hit it, then get out of the way. That sort of board there, 5, 7, 8 is it's a nice continuation bet from Lucky Me. Very difficult for either of the others to do it, and you do want to just keep chipping away at them because you don't want to be going into a situation whereby Marshak busts Stefan and has then got sort of 25, 30 bigs against Lucky Me's 130. One double up takes it to 70 versus 100, and all of a sudden it's very close, isn't it? So you will need to keep chipping away at these guys, Lucky Me, if you want to win this. Now is the time. Before you get heads up to basically just keep applying the pressure whilst they're focused on maybe trying to cling on for 2nd place here. Use the situation to your advantage. This looks like Stefan might be committed to it. He is, and he's going to get a call from Lucky Me. Hit a pair of 7s, pair of 10s for... And now it needs a jack, otherwise we're going to lose Stefan in 3rd place. And it's not going to be. And so optional 65 from Germany, Stefan Roda is going to finish in 3rd place, picking up £373. Very well done, Stefan, and the bronze medal. And where have the players gone?
They've disappeared, Lee. They've stepped out.
They've gone to a new heads-up table or something. Am I?
I'm sure they haven't.
Don't be surprised. Yeah, they've gone to a new heads-up table.
Oh my word! What? Look at all that money, Lee. Where's that come from?
Bloody hell! Feels completely unnecessary. Oh, goodness me. That, folks, is what £654.90 looks like. Oh, well, it looks good. It looks impressive. That's for sure. So, first real hand here, and pretty much Marshak is going to be committed in here. Got 3 bigs behind. Lucky Me's found a fold there on the river. Obviously missed. Yeah, obviously missed.
To 3 big blinds?
Yeah, it's 107 bigs versus about 20 bigs here.
Stefan says, lovely game. Thanks for it. Well done, Stefan.
Well, I can confirm, Stefan. We'll double check the maths and everything, but I'm pretty sure on countback that's going to put you top of the player of the series. So let's see what it's going to be on. So you've had a first and a third, I think it is, and I think Tariq has only had a first. Yeah. His others were below. So your first and your third is better than Tariq's first. Well, they're both all in. Ace, King, 8-8, Ace, Queen, 9-3. 8s and 7s are looking good at the moment for lucky me. 5-1 shot. And it's definitely going to do it with the 8 on the river. And that's going to be that. So Lucky Me 20 is going to be our event number 24, World Championship Amateur Poker 2023 Online PLO Champion, picking up £654.90 plus the WCOAP bracelet and the APAC gold medal. Marshak is going to finish in second, picking up £494 and the silver medal. And as we mentioned, Stefan Roeder with a third place finish is going to pick up the bronze medal, £373 and more. Well, I think more importantly, not that a bronze medal and £373 isn't important, but enough points to put Stefan top of player of the series with one event to go. That's assuming, obviously, that Lucky Me 20 and Marshak and Mr. G 27 UK aren't players that are already in the player of the series, and we don't know that yet. So should just put that out there. Obviously, we know who Stefan is, but it could be, one of the other players potentially is in that leaderboard as well, and we won't be able to get that all wrapped up until probably Monday to get that confirmed from GG. But I will throw that out there as just a caveat to it all. But that's one down, one to go, Mr. Duffy.
That's us. Thank you, Leigh. Well done. A good evening's entertainment, I have to say, from 10 p.m. We will be back at the same time tomorrow night, guys, for the No Limit Hold'em version of this, the final bracelet event of WCOAP 23. So get in early, get involved in that one. I think that should be a great field and a cracking event, and we look forward to calling it with you. So until then, we shall say a gute Nacht and see you tomorrow evening. Night, everyone.